Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Happy Sunday to all of you. Just a quick info. I have just recorded and posted a video that is on my Patreon and locals because certain things presented in a very direct way are better, as I've mentioned this before, to be over there. So if you're interested, go and check it out. Is just posted on Patreon and locals. The link you find down below this video in the description box. So guys, what do I have for you today? Well, quite a number of things. I think we're gonna start with the golden statue of Trump, just for a change, something different than dying people. But it's an interesting story, and if this is true, if this is not a fake story, that is quite interesting one. So let's take a listen to the guy who is making the sculpture that is Trump. He was commissioned to do it, and what's happening with this project, with the golden statue of Trump.
Jesus. I'm getting a lot of fan mail and phone calls. They're all hate mails. And how can you do the Trump statue? Oh, boy. I'm Alan Cottrell. I'm a sculptor of the figure, as you can see. I've done maybe 16 to 19 other presidents, but it's the first living president I'd ever done. Well, I think it's a pretty recognizable pose. It was the pose that Trump struck shortly after the intended assassin nicked his ear in Butler, PA, and he rose up from the ground and put that fist in the air. The crypto guys had told us that President Trump probably would unveil it either in December or January. So we worked 7 days a week getting the gold leaf on this, got it finished the first week of January, thinking we would be delivering and installing it. And here we are 5 weeks, 6 weeks later. They haven't paid for the intellectual property rights for the use of this image to launch their token. And they owe me some monies for other things. And I said, okay, wire me the money and then we can install the statue. So I'm still waiting. It's a little over $90,000. It's not insubstantial. Part of it's principle. You do what you say. You do what you say you're going to do, and when you don't, yeah.
I mean, what's a big deal really, right? It's just a little delay payment, and they have more important things going on right now, like this conflict with Iran and executing the vision that I actually have been talking about on this video that I posted today on Patreon and locals, which is, the vision. So what's the big deal? I mean, he's gonna pay it. He's gonna pay it. But is it taxpayers' money, or this is like from Trump's bank account directly, or who pays for this golden statue? My question, just wondering. Since I can't believe it, guys. Like when I'm looking back at myself, I'm like, oh my God, I was supporting this person. But I think he's possessed. I think they did some crazy rituals and some demon or some other beings went into him, because that's not the same person that I was supporting for a long time. So he just gave a little bit Q&A on Air Force One, I think. This is another thing to wake people up. You remember that school in Iran I played few videos from that. 171, or actually maybe even more girls that have been killed. You know, that sacrifice. They like those blood sacrifice. So who did it, right? Who did it? I think we kind of know who did it, but it looks like it was not America who did it. Let's take a listen. This is coming from Trump and Hexet.
Did the United States bomb a girls' elementary school in southern Iran on the first day of the war and kill 175 people?
In my opinion, based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
Is that true, Mr. Hexet? It was Iran who did that?
We're certainly investigating.
Still
But
investigating.
the only side that targets civilians is Iran.
We think it was done. We think it was done by Iran
Can you give us an
because they're very inaccurate, as you know, with their munitions. They have no accuracy whatsoever. It was done by Iran.
Did the United States bomb a girls' elementary school?
So do we really believe it that Iran made such a mistake and killed their own children? So this is kind of like Ukraine story. You remember when they were bombing hospitals and other places with civilians and the houses, and they were saying Russia did it. Russia did this, Russia did that. And like how Russia actually destroyed, blew up, poof, the Nord Stream pipeline, you remember? The Nord Stream pipeline, that's what Russia did as well. That's what they said in the beginning, very beginning. So here we have the story that Trump openly says that very much likely Iran did it. They killed their own children just because, to blame it on America. So let's take a listen to someone who is, let me find it, guys. Let me just find this clip. I mean, I am becoming speechless literally by, it's like lies after lies after lies. So here is the guy who is the ex-Mossad whistleblower, and he says that Netanyahu blackmails Trump. So it's not new, but let's take a listen what he has to say, because you might be wondering like how far this could go. I think it could go really far with how crazy things can get.
Hold on a second. I want to give you an example. Bill Clinton, President Bill Clinton, Ehud Barak, met Arafat in the 90s, and there was no deal. The reason was Epstein. They were being blackmailed by Epstein. Ehud Barak was also a friend of Epstein, the prime minister of Israel at the time. But he was being blackmailed by the Israeli right wing as well. And they stopped an agreement with Arafat. They were about to reach an agreement there for a two-state solution, but that was stopped because of Epstein. They were both being blackmailed by Epstein.
And so Jeffrey Epstein, in a way, presumably being used as a tool by the Israelis, helped to change the course of history in this region I'm speaking to you from.
Of course, they changed a thing, and they trapped a number of U.S. presidents by using Jeffrey Epstein. And it wasn't only about sex, it was also the money issue. Where was the money coming from? But everything is stuck over Gaza. And I believe the Israelis have the American government captive due to what happens with Epstein, or what happened in the past with Epstein. Rupert Murdoch, newspaper, Wall Street Journal, put out that card or something, a birthday card Trump sent to Epstein. Where do you think they got it from? And I don't think Trump wants to continue this war or the genocide. I think it's the Israelis holding him back. Hold on a second.
So that was recorded before the conflict with Iran has started. Now, I want to take you to news about the casualties as far as the American soldiers go. I have 2 videos prepared for you. So it looks like there is more American soldiers who are being wounded in this conflict with Iran, and they are being transported to the hospital in Germany. So let's take a listen what's really going on. What are the numbers exactly? I don't know. Maybe we're going to hear in those videos, but that's where they are allegedly sending them to that hospital in Germany.
Anybody else hearing about the Landstuhl hospital in Germany that's had to shut down because they're bringing too many soldiers over that are injured and or KIA'd in action? Had to shut it down. What are we telling our people over here that we have 6 American soldiers that have been killed? They're lying. You need to tune out Western media from CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, all of it. Newspapers, New York Times, New York Post. You're going to get lied to. They're going to lie to you because they want to sell this war to the dupes in this country. They need to. They need the approval. This guy's going to keep doubling down. The orange clown that we have as president is going to keep doubling down. This was supposed to be like 2 days, and we were going to be in and out of there, probably in his little pea-brained head. Oh, guess what? We don't have a plan B, do we?
There is one more video I want to play for you that goes a little bit more into details as far as those soldiers. But yeah, they chose number 6 as the victims, right? As the soldiers who died. They like 6s. So now maybe they will say 66. I wouldn't be surprised. So let's take a listen to this guy. He's presenting this in more details.
This is big breaking news. We are getting reports that more tragedies are now coming out of the war between the United States, Israel, and Iran. We are now getting reports that U.S. service members are now getting injured more often and are being transported to medical hospitals. So there could be a lot more going on behind the scenes. Let's get into all the details here. You guys can see this is the scene tonight at a Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. All right. And we are seeing military transport ambulances going in and out of the hospital. All right. So we are seeing an increase in activity. And you can also see here military bases in Germany as well are telling people to get ready for more injuries and casualties. You can see here it says military moms to be can't give birth at largest DoD hospital abroad amid care needs of Iran war. It says here the Kaiserlautern Germany hospital and military community has been told that the labor and delivery ward is now shutting down. All right. So they typically allow military service members to give birth here, and they are shutting down the labor and delivery ward to now deal with the increase in injuries and casualties coming from the Iran war. They use this hospital in Germany here to evacuate U.S. soldiers. That's why what we're seeing here is significant as well. You can see here, this was posted by Andrew Layden. He said a C-17 took off from the Middle East with a stopover in Germany and landed earlier this evening at Joint Base Andrews. About 2 hours later, a convoy of specially equipped medical ambulances called patient evacuation vehicles, along with an ambulance bus, departed with a large police escort, taking the Beltway to Walter Reed Hospital and Bethesda. Sorry if I said that wrong. Though unconfirmed, these likely are some of the first injured soldiers of the U.S. attack on Iran being brought back to the United States for medical treatment. Okay.
I will attach the link to his video down below in the description box so you can watch it in full length. So, yeah. And they will drag Europe into this as well. Just wait, it's a matter of time. I wouldn't be surprised at all. That's the plan as well, because they have to sacrifice. They have to sacrifice absolutely everyone. So now what Trump says, that Congress, I think, is becoming very anti-S, anti-Semitic. So let's take a listen to what he just said.
As President of the United States, I will always support Jewish Americans, and I will always be a friend and a champion to the Jewish people. I have been. And I will say, if you go back 10, 12, 15 years ago at the most, the strongest lobby in Washington was the Jewish lobby. It was Israel. That's no longer true. You have to be very careful. You have a Congress in particular, which is becoming anti-Semitic. You have AOC +3. You have those people, Ilhan Omar, she hates Jewish people. And you have to be very careful because there's been a big change. If you go back 15 years ago, I'm not Jewish, but my father was very friendly with many, many Jewish people, was honored by Federation. I would go with him to Federation of Jewish Philanthropies and many other things. And we grew up respecting and loving Jewish people. You don't even think about it. In Brooklyn and Queens mostly. And my father didn't go to Manhattan. He never went to Manhattan from the standpoint. He could never understand how in Brooklyn you could buy a piece of land for $3 a foot and how in Manhattan you had to pay $1,000 a foot. He said, I can't get that. I don't like it. I like to buy it for $3. So it was different. It's a different thinking. In a way, I'm glad he didn't do that because he let me have some of that fun. And I had a lot of fun in Manhattan. We did great. But my father would tell me the most powerful lobby that there is in this country is the Jewish lobby. It's the Israeli lobby. It's not that way anymore. You have a lot of people in your way. You have a lot of people that don't want to help Israel. You have a lot of people in Congress that don't like Israel. You have a lot of people in Congress that, in a way, I think, Mike, we could say it, right? You're there. You're doing an amazing job, Mike Lawler. They hate Israel. They hate Israel. And if you would have told me 15 years ago that that was possible, Jason, I would have said, there's no way. There's no way that's possible. But it's happening. And obviously, it's getting progressively worse. Less so in the Senate, but the Senate's starting also. You get glimmers, when I'm in the back rooms talking to people, you get glimmers of statements that you say, whoa, where did that come from? So we have to be, Sid, we have to be very careful because bad things are happening. And then you see what goes on in Australia or October 7th. How about October 7th? And then you have people that deny it ever happened. How about the people that deny, like they deny the Holocaust, but you figure, well, that's just many years. Well, October 7th is not many years at all. And you have people that deny October. I saw tape that I wish I never saw it, actually. I wish I never saw it. I got to see tape that some of you got to see, but as president, I got to see things I wish I never saw. but there's no denying it. But then they'll say, oh, the tape was a rigged tape. It was a tape that never existed. They made it up. It's just propaganda. I don't know if they believe it. I don't think they believe it, but you have to be very, very careful. Bad things are happening, and we're not going to let that happen. While I'm president and the DOJ and Harmeet, we're not going to let it happen. But please, please be vigilant and careful, because you have some bad people that are now in Congress that were unthinkable to be in Congress 12, 13, 14 years ago, 15 years ago. As President of the United States,
Sorry, guys, I was trying to close it. So yeah, he's blaming Congress for becoming anti-Semitic, and he said that he's not Jewish. But I think he converted to Judaism, didn't he? Not officially, but I think they announced it during his first term. Don't you think? There were information circulating. Actually, I play it in one of my videos as well. So the new laws and regulations were becoming, for sure, to prevent people from not liking the country that should not be mentioned and not supporting the country that should not be mentioned. So they will be liking the country and supporting the country. Now let's go to the Armageddon story. You remember when a few days ago that news broke out that the soldiers were reporting that now this war with Iran is because of the President Trump being anointed by Jesus, and this is for Jesus coming. And they have to create this Armageddon for that, and this is in relation to the book of Revelation. So let's read this, because this is quite interesting take on that. Someone went through the effort and actually connected few dots, so I want to read it. In this post it says, there is no battle of Armageddon in the book of Revelation, given the recent news about more than 100 service members filing complaints that a commander told them that the war with Iran is part of God's divine plan, that a sitting president is anointed by Jesus to ignite Armageddon. It is important to make it clear how unbiblical this claim is. This claim has more to do with the fiction series of Left Behind and dispensational theology than it does the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation was composed in the late 1st century, most likely during the reign of Domitian, when the Roman Empire demanded not only political loyalty but religious reverence. Rome ruled through claiming divine sanctions. Emperors were hailed as Lord and Savior, and participation in imperial cults was a sign of allegiance. Sorry if I mispronounce the words. Refusal could mean marginalization, economic exclusion, or worse. It is that context where John of Patmos writes his vision. Revelation is not a coded forecast of 21st century geopolitics. As John writes in verse 1, the entire letter is the revelation of Jesus Christ. It is the way of God through Jesus Christ being revealed in the world. It is written in the prophetic genre of apocalyptic resistance literature. It pulls back the curtain on earthly empires and names them for what they are, beastly. Rome is depicted, sorry for my English, guys, as the first beast, 7 heads representing the 7 hills of Rome. The second beast is the propaganda machine for the first beast, looking like a lamb, but speaking for the dragon. Then the mark of loyalty to the beast is the number 666 or 616 in some manuscripts. And when we're using gematria, the number is transliterated into Hebrew, NRWN, I don't know how you read this, QSR. It points to Emperor Nero, one of the worst persecutors of the early church. John also describes Rome's economic system becomes Babylon, drunk on luxury and the blood of the saints. John is offering a theological critique of imperialism in contrast to the way of the crucified lamb, meaning Jesus Christ. He is telling persecuted Christians that while the empire looks invincible is not ultimate. Its violence is not divine. Its claims to eternal rule are a parody. They will not have the last word. This is the contrast to keep in mind when we consider the famous Battle of Armageddon, which appears in Revelation 16:16. The kings of the earth gather at the place called Armageddon from Har Megiddo, Mount Megiddo, which is a symbolic site associated with decisive Old Testament conflicts. But here is the striking detail many miss. No battle is actually described. The nations gather, the stage is set, but when we reach Revelation 19, where we expect a final and epic clash of armies, something else astonishing happens. Christ appears as a rider on a white horse. His robe is dripping with his own blood, not his enemies. Legions of angel armies are flanked behind him, armed to the teeth. Then they just stand there. The word comes out of his mouth, which is described as a sharper than any double-edged sword, the advanced weapon of the time. And the beast and the kings of the earth are defeated, not through violent warfare, but by the word that proceeds from him, but the word that is revealed through him, by the word that is him. There is no prolonged fight, no exchange of blows, no suspenseful military drama. No Christian foot soldier taking up arms against hostile evil forces as the Left Behind series would have us believe. The battle is over before it begins. We are then given a casualty report of the enemies of God in Revelation 19, 20, 21. It is a powerful depiction of how Jesus has defeated sin and death through his self-giving love on the cross. Even earlier in Revelation 5, John hears of the Lion of Judah, but when he turns, he sees a lamb standing as though slain. This is the entire theological center of the book. Victory in Revelation does not come through superior violence. It comes through faithful witness, sacrificial love, and divine judgment enacted by truth itself. The conquering Messiah conquers as the slain lamb, not as a beast. It is a fragile, insecure God that needs weapons and armies to achieve victory. It is an all-powerful God that creates and dismantles simply by speaking a word, the word. Empire thrives on spectacle, likes parades, armies, intimidation, and crucifixions lining the roads. Revelation subverts that spectacle. It stages what looks like the ultimate imperial showdown and then refuses to narrate it as a conventional war. Why? Because the point is not that God wins by out killing Rome. The point is that Rome's power is the hollow and endless cycle of violence. God's power is the redeeming, non-violent power of self-sacrificial love, the cross. In the ancient world, empires justified war as divinely sanctioned. Rome claimed Pax Romana, which means the peace of Rome, and it was secured by conquest, peace through domination. Revelation exposes that as counterfeit peace, Babylon falls not because Christians take up arms, but because her violence results in a self-inflicted wound, as all empires inevitably do, leading to her collapse under divine judgment. The merchants weep when she falls, not because of lost lives, but because of lost profits. It is a piercing indictment of economic exploitation fused with military power. Same story repeats throughout history and today. The so-called final battle reveals that God does not need legions to defeat tyranny. Empire gathers for war. God simply speaks. So this is the crucial theological meaning of the book of Revelation. God's victory is not symmetrical with the empire's violence. God does not mirror the beast to defeat the beast. Faithful witness, not armed revolt, is the church's calling. The saints conquer by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony, not by seizing power. Imperial claims are temporary. What looks absolute is already judged in heaven's perspective. Evil always self-destructs when confronted by truth. The absence of a literal battle underscores that evil has no ultimate substance before God's reign. All this to say, when Revelation is read as a blueprint for inevitable global warfare and can be co-opted to sanctify violence or to arrogantly believe that Jesus' return can be manipulated into happening by causing Armageddon, as we are seeing again today. In its original context, it is functioned as a pastoral encouragement to marginalized believers. Do not fear the empire. Do not worship it. Do not become like it. You have to give like to this post. Armageddon is not a call to arms. It is a dramatic unveiling of the futility of arms before God. The final word of Revelation is not war, but renewal. It is a new heaven, a new earth, and a city where the nations bring their glory, not their weapons, into the light of God. The empire gathers for battle. The Lamb reigns without fighting. The battle was already won on the cross. The contrast is the critique. We want the war horse. Jesus rides a donkey. We want the eagle. The Holy Spirit descends as a dove. We want to take up swords. Jesus takes up a cross. We want the roaring lion. God comes as a slaughtered lamb. We keep trying to arm God. God keeps trying to disarm us. So I hope you were okay with me reading this to you. Again, apologies for mispronouncing some words. But this is their Armageddon. That's all I have for you today, guys. I will attach all the links down below in the description box, including Patreon and locals if you want to check out the other video. To everyone who would like to support my work, those two platforms are the best to join. And you can also donate on PayPal if you choose to. And you can also purchase one of my books for children. This is the latest one that was just published. The information how to order it is also down below. Scroll under the video. And with this being said, have a great day, everyone. Lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video. Make sure to hit the thumbs up before you go. Thank you, everyone.